Welcome back to For the Record. Joining me now is Malden High School athletic trainer Paul Endres. Paul, when it comes to practice, what are you looking for when these students are out there and they're pushing themselves hard and they may not tell you everything? You have to keep an eye out of what's going on, right?
Yes, it's hard. You have a lot of athletes around. You really rely on the coaches and also their friends to, if somebody's telling you something, they don't want to tell you, you have to make sure you talk to your athletes and make sure they're aware of, hey, if your friend tells you, hey, something doesn't feel right, or instead of saying, hey, don't say nothing so you can keep playing, go tell your athletic trainer, go tell your parents, go tell your coach, so they're aware of something that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes it's a big game. They can't lose. It's tight. The energy's there. The adrenaline's flowing. I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. How serious could that become?
Oh, extremely serious. You brought up before about concussions. A secondary impact to a developing brain of an adolescent athlete can actually cripple a young person or even kill them. So it's critical with a head injury that they discuss that with their coach or their athletic trainer, or tell their friends. Or if their friends hear them talking about saying, hey, I just hit somebody, my head's killing me, they need to say something. Don't be like, don't say anything, they'll take you out.
Yeah.
Just be quiet.
But they're young. Nothing bad is going to happen to them. There's that mindset. Or I'm in pain, I could just take a few Advil and I'll be all right and get back in there. But what's going on in the body?
Well, as far as pain medication goes, there's pain masking and then there's anti-inflammatories that are beneficial. So, a lot of athletes are like, oh, I've got shin splints, so I'm going to just keep popping a couple Advil before I run, and they're just masking their pain. They're not actually using the medicine in an effective way to cause an anti-inflammatory response. If they're using any other kind of medication or trying to hide something, that's a problem. The saying, pain is weakness leaving the body, but it's also, pain is part of our immune system. It's part of our protection system. It's there to tell us something's wrong with us.
Yeah. It seems, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like every sport is just getting to more and more, there's passion, more and more drive. People are pushing themselves harder. Sure, the technology is in there with the equipment, but there's so many ways that someone could hurt themselves.
No.
And you have to look out for so much of that.
It's difficult. Sometimes you just have to rely on your instincts, your blessings, and hopefully that you're making the right decision at the right time, using your education and experience, and also too, don't be afraid to make an athlete, make a parent, make a coach upset with you for removing them. I've always told my students, my coaches, my interns I used to get, you're never wrong sending someone to the emergency room, but may not be the right decision, but it's not wrong, and our job is not to be wrong, not to be right.
Yeah.
So you just have to be, a lot of instinct, a lot of education, a lot of experience, but also and put away your ego and don't worry about what the score is or the game or who they're playing or things like that. You have to look out for the student's best interest and protect them from themselves.
When you hear stories of young people who are seriously hurt or pass away, do you find more and more, especially parents, as I'm a parent of 3 boys, do you find parents are more and more understanding to some of the decisions you have to make?
Yes, as unfortunately the tragic events have to occur. I moved down here from an area where there were 2 deaths on the field of football players, probably within about 60 miles. And then the school that I previously worked at after I had left, they had a young man who's been permanently disabled from a secondary head injury. So they understand that when you present it and you educate people and discuss it with them so they understand the risks. And sometimes you have to just scare them. Tell them, they think, well, they'll be all right. I played when I was knocked out. Well, your son could die or your daughter could die.
How important is it to have this conversation?
Extremely. I mean, education and their understanding is really the only critical thing. I mean, that comes down to everything. They have to understand what's at risk.
And the students?
Same thing. Same thing has to be applied. I've had on several occasions, I've had athletes who just want to fight me about a concussion, especially. And there was a video that was released on ESPN years ago that was put out by University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. It was on E60, and it was about an athletic or a linebacker who actually was from nearby from where I grew up, played at Philadelphia, and then got hurt at Pittsburgh, who's permanently disabled. And I had shown that video several times as a real wake up to kids. This is what you're potentially dealing with.
Yeah, and it could happen in any sport.
Absolutely.
At any time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the insight, and thank you for having this conversation, because I think a lot of people do need to hear it.
I do. Appreciate it.
Next, the Greenville County Schools Athletic Director joins us to continue our conversation on student athletes' health.